Today's the day we've been dreading. We are leaving Alaska.
There are truly no words to express how bittersweet it is to leave Alaska. The last 2.5 months here have been the absolute time of our lives, and it's become our favorite place that we have ever been. And we plan to share more of a recap and our feelings and some tips about Alaska in our next video after we have a little bit of time to reflect, but for now we're just feeling really sad to leave, but also simultaneously excited for what the rest of the year has in store because we still have a lot that we plan to do.
And today our plan is to drive the Taylor Highway up to the top of the World Highway, which will take us to our first stop back in Canada, Dawson City in the Yukon. It's about a 4.5 hour drive, but we plan on making some stops along the way and just enjoying the scenery.
We've been on the road for over an hour now, and it has been such a beautiful drive. There's all these rolling mountains, just vast wilderness as far as the eye can see, and the fall colors are starting to pop up, which are just stunning. But we're inching closer and closer to our very first stop of the day, a quirky little town by the name of Chicken. You may be wondering, why is this town named Chicken? Well, back in the 1800s, when gold miners were in the area, they ate a lot of ptarmigan, which resembles a chicken. And when it came time to name the town in 1902, they had no idea how to spell ptarmigan, so they named it Chicken instead. This town has no electricity. It's run all on generators, no cell service, and no plumbing, just some very creatively named outhouses. There are just a handful of buildings in town, some of which have been standing since the early 1900s. It's super quirky and charming, and definitely one of the most unique places we have ever visited. Hey Adam, why'd the chicken cross the road?
I don't know why.
To get to Chicken! Do you think I'm the first person who's ever made that joke?
Yeah, I think you are. Yeah, you got that one.
Woo!
You can't come to Chicken and not get cherry pie. You thought I was gonna say chicken, didn't you? We stopped into the Chicken Creek Cafe, and they actually do have chicken pot pie, but we read that their fruit pies are really dang good too, so we got one of those to try instead. First observations, look at this crust. That looks handmade. Yeah.
The filling is nice and sweet, but not overpoweringly sweet. And that crust is super good. It's nice and flaky, but also has a nice little chew to it. That's pretty solid pie.
My only complaint with the pie, and I really only have myself to blame, is we didn't get it a la mode. That's the only thing that would take this to the next level.
We forgot.
How could we do that?
Bye, Chicken. We'll hatch you later.
Well, that was an excellent little stop, but we now have about 40 minutes until we get to the beginning of the top of the World Highway, and from here on out, it is gonna be mostly unpaved, so it should be a bumpy and fun ride.
So far this road is not bad at all. It's pretty smooth for being unpaved. I don't know if we just like overhype these unpaved roads in our head and then it always just ends up being not as bad as we envision it being, or if it's just not bad at all, or if we just haven't gotten to the bad part yet. But we were going 38 miles per hour a little bit ago, so we're crushing it.
have made it to the top of the world highway, which runs over 70 miles from here in Alaska all the way to Dawson City. And it gets its name because the road stays above the tree line and you have vast views just in every direction for miles and miles.
The road is technically open from May until the first snowfall, but the US and Canada border is only open from June until early September, and we're driving the road at the very end of August, so we lucked out that our timing worked out. That way we could leave Alaska this way. And speaking of leaving Alaska, we only have 8 more miles left in the state. No! There's the sign! 2.5 months ago, I couldn't be more excited to see the Welcome to Alaska sign, and now I couldn't be more sad to see the Welcome to Alaska sign. We dreamt about this trip for well over a year, and it's just crazy that it's already over.
We had such an awesome build-up all year to get here, and our anticipation for getting here was so high, and the months we were here just flew by, and it exceeded everything I could have dreamed of. I loved it and can't wait to come back.
Our last views of Alaska. We'll miss you. We love you. We will see you again.
Before we actually leave Alaska, we've got to go through the border station, and this is actually North America's northernmost border station. It's open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Alaska time, which is 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Yukon time, because they're in 2 different time zones.
The process to cross the border is still the same as when we crossed into Canada back in May. You have to fill out the ArriveCan app up to 3 days before. We have our passports, we have our COVID vaccine cards, we have Kona's rabies vaccinations, and we try to clear our fridge of as much food as possible because there are all these rules on what foods you can and cannot bring into Canada, and quite frankly it's very, very confusing. So hopefully we didn't miss anything because we have not had cell service the entire day, so we have no way to do any last minute Googling.
Hello. Great, how are you?
And how long are you planning to be in Canada?
We'll be back in the lower 48 by mid-September.
Excellent. I'll be right back.
Okay. Thank
There
you.
you go. You might as well go.
Okay.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
They let us back into Canada. That was a really easy border crossing. That was maybe the nicest border agent we've ever come across. But we've got about 105 kilometers until we get to Dawson City.
When we drove to Alaska, we drove on the Alaska Highway, which took us through Kluane National Park in the Yukon, which is such a stunning drive. But this drive has been really beautiful too. We just have these sweeping views of the area, and the fall colors are out right now, which makes it extra beautiful. So if you plan to drive to Alaska, we definitely suggest driving up one way and down the other. And even though this road is not paved, it's actually in really good condition. It's pretty smooth, and I would say it's much more enjoyable to drive than some of the paved portions of the Alaska Highway. Oh my gosh, they just ran out in front of that car. Wow!
That was awesome. Just driving down the road, all of a sudden saw something coming out of the bushes on the left. Crossing the road was a big moose and a little baby. Oh,
Yes!
That was so cool. Haven't seen any wildlife today.
Oh
First wildlife
man,
sighting.
I was hoping we would.
Man, that was cool.
Oh, that was exciting. Wow! This is amazing!
We have almost made it to Dawson City. is just right there. But before we can get there, we've got to cross the Yukon River by taking the George Black Ferry. This ferry system is viewed as part of the highway system, so it's a free service. It runs almost 24 hours a day during the summer, and during the winter, the river freezes over and you can either walk across or snowmobile across. This is the most, I don't even know how to describe it.
Different ferry.
Yeah, different ferry experience. It's like we just drove right on, like off of a dirt embankment. That was so just unofficial, I guess. I don't know the best word to describe it. It was fun.
Well, that was super fun. Today has been such a fun travel day. We got to cross a border and ride a ferry, and we are officially here in Dawson City, and this place is so cool. We don't want to spoil it quite yet because we plan to spend a jam-packed day exploring here, but this city is loaded with history. It was the home of the Klondike Gold Rush, so there's so much to check out, and we cannot wait to share it with y'all soon. Do your best chicken. Is that a rooster? Are they the same? They're different. Are they the same? I don't know.
Oh, is that
I don't know. I don't know. We don't know the dance. No.
I'm just gonna make it.
I don't know. We're just gonna do our own.